Make no mistake, this is not a reflexive dismissal. It appears popular that every Halloween people embark on inane journeys and appear driven to be scornful. This they do under the mantle of freedom of expression. It may appear tragic how the free and open marketplace of ideas requires us to be tolerant of positions and views which deeply offends us. Indeed, it is not. In many cases, it alerts us to those who cling tightly to pathology. This does not make it any easier to digest foul antics of others. Many times we have seen fellow Americans rationalize detestable creations and call it art. Blackface is no different. It is bizarre that we still have people who defend away this behavior. Personally, I cannot relate to the claimed aesthetic interest in this expression. It can never be a humorous mimicry, considering the humiliation it was meant to invoke, or illegitimate elevation on the reprehensible hierarchy of human worth. Nor can I see it being mentally permitted due to an expression of envy. Likely, it is an unconscious rebellion against being connected to one's humanity, especially when we consider the historical context of its use. Indeed, standards of taste evolve, but the persistence of this behavior, in my opinion, should not be diminished to mere imitation. It definitely demonstrates a seeking out of regression. This viciously hostile action, no doubt, has gained popularity since the trial of Zimmerman and the presidency of Obama. This passive-aggressive display is a slap in the face, an obvious indifference to insensitivity, and an enthusiastic show of racial bigotry. It always amazes me how the white Americans who use blackface supposedly employ so-called black wit and gestures. Never is it regal. Despondency seems to be its destination. It commonly links blacks to subnormality and paints us, in my opinion, as the justified orphans of the American paternity, which of course implies we should be equated to children. It publicly gives expression to blacks supposedly being cheerfully irresponsible via a life supposedly liberated from responsibilities and burdens. It is common to see people paint the Jewish and black communities as ones who are most vocal about the infringement of their rights. Thus, blacks are seen by some, speaking of those who are descendants of slaves, as having an exclusivity and victimizing culture. I think this is patently false, for it does not take into consideration the validity of the grievance or the context of the action. Yet, arguably, unlike American Jews, we see an ethical or moral code that applies more strictly to one group than another, that other group being blacks. Maybe this is due to conditioning, I do not know. However, I do remember when neo-Nazis announced plans in 1997 to march in Stokey, Illinois. They were going to press forward and exercise their right to freedom of speech. Yet, a predominantly Jewish community that included many Holocaust survivors sparked a national debate regarding how much free speech was too much. Can you say double standard? Blacks periodically face this callousness. It appears to be a blackface nostalgia of sorts. Still, those who are not ruled by their emotions but demand fairness do not seek to restrict another's freedom of expression. All the same, we are seen as those who bellyache. What are these cognitive limitations that prevent human beings from adequately processing the information needed for fully rational choice? A choice which is molded also by lucidity, compassion, and perceptiveness.